Easy.
Nanda Pranam, Prabhuji's Mataji's, और glory Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam Prabhuji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev Prabhuji.
Nanda Pranam Mata, glory Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. You are in Chicago these days, Sanjay Prabhu?
Ji Prabhuji, I'm here in Michigan only sometimes on the weekends, but otherwise I'm in Chicago full time.
Okay. You are still continuing going to temple there?
I try whenever I go on the weekends when there is their Sunday feast. I go there if I'm there.
Thank you, bro. Okay. So we will start now. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिने नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। पंचतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपा स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरम्। So today we will be discussing from Shrimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 11. So last week we saw Lord Krishna leaving Hastinapur. We saw various prayers offered by how Yudhishthira Maharaj, Pandavas, Gandhari, Dhritarashtra, Kunti, Uttara, and how they all see of Krishna. Then we saw how the women of Hastinapur, they went on the rooftop and they glorified about and they discussed about Krishna. The chapter describes, Sukadeva Goswami describes, those glories were sweeter than even the recitation of Vedas, because we discuss how Vedas indirectly speak about the glories of Krishna and pastimes of Krishna, but the simple women of Hastinapur were directly glorifying the absolute truth, Krishna. And then after Sanjay was holding an umbrella as Satyaki and Uddhav were fanning the Lord was sitting on the chariot. After certain, after all the royal assembly, after they followed Lord Krishna on the chariot till some distance, then Krishna requested them to return back. And because of their intense affectionate love, they all almost fainted when Krishna was departing, and their eyes were filled with tears. Then Lord Krishna left, and on the way, whenever it was like when the sun would go down, evening time, then the Lord would stay at different kingdoms like Panchali and like Panchal and other kingdoms. Wherever the Lord would go, the Lord was received and worshipped. Offered various prayers, and then after evening rites, then the Lord would take rest. In the morning, again continued his journey, and then finally the Lord reached outside Hastinapur. This 11 chapters a description of outside Dwarka. It is described that most of the residents of Hastinapur, they never saw Lord Krishna again. Yudhishthira Maharaj has already taken over the kingdom with the permission of Dhritarashtra and Lord Krishna. So when the Lord reached on his chariot with Daruka, he was outside the gate of Hastinapur. Then in order to make known his presence, the Lord took the conch shell and the Lord blew his conch shell. Everything that is connected with Krishna is transcendental. including all the weapons and the conch shell. And they are devotees. Sudarshan Chakra is a devotee. Panchajanya as a name of Lord's conch shell is also a devotee. Everything, the flute is a everything is a devotee. All the weapons basically are the devotees of the Lord. And they are very personal. We see this aspect when Durvasa Muni offended Maharaj Ambarish. Then Sudarshan was angry because of the Vaishnava Aparadh, and Sudarshan was running behind Durvasa. And when Durvasa would beg forgiveness, then Sudarshan would wait. Sudarshan is a devotee, and sometimes Krishna tells Sudarshan, go and kill the demons. He goes and he sees, demons are wearing Kantimala or Tilak. Then he feels that, they are Vaishnavas. So Sudarshan, without killing them, he comes back and says, they are devotees of the Lord. So there are many personal interaction between the Lord and his weapons. So same is this Panchajanya also. When the Lord, it is said, when the Lord resounds his conch shell, it drives away the fear from the heart of devotees. And the sound vibration are transcendental. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada describes this transcendental sound vibration to the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And no matter what fears we have, Prabhupada says, in as long as when this material world, there is shelter problem, fooding problem, there is mating problem, there is fear problem. Prabhupada, there are so many problems, but the biggest problem a living entity faces the fear problem. Many times our decisions is based on fears. What will happen in the future? What about the child in the future? What about the education in the future? What about our finances in the future? So fear problem is like people are overtaken by this fear. This is one of the nature of this material world, is everyone is like fearing about the future. But when the Lord blew his conch shell, all the residents became free from, like, the fear went away. It is said that when the Lord blew his conch shell, this is Dwarka, everyone is a devotee. So the heart becomes filled with love and the fear goes away. But on the other hand, those who are demoniac, when they hear the Lord's conch shell, their heart becomes shattered by fear. The example is just before the beginning of Mahabharata war, when the Lord blew his conch shell, the heart of Duryodhan and others was shattered by fear. The example given is when the cat takes kitten in her mouth, the kitten feels so much safe and love. But same cat carries the mouse in the mouth, and the mouse is like shaken by fear. So when the Lord blew his conch shell, which is a transcendental sound, which is anything connected to Krishna is transcendental, whether the name of Krishna or and the flute sound of Krishna, the conch sound of Krishna, anything connected to Krishna is transcendental. And these residents of Dwarka, there are many conch shells, but these residents of Dwarka can clearly distinguish when the Lord blew his conch shell. And they, it's a transcendental sound. Their heart was filled with love, and they understood that after very long time, Lord Krishna has returned. We also saw, and we will see that today also, is Lord Krishna has 16,108 queens, mother, father, Devaki, Vasudev, Rohini, Ugrasena Maharaj. Lord Krishna has sons and grandsons, counting millions, because it is said from every queen, Lord Krishna has 10 sons. And each of the 10 sons, they have their own 10 sons. So we can imagine it's like millions of just Lord Krishna's family itself, millions in Dwarka. And they all have this intense, spontaneous, affectionate love for Krishna. And when Krishna came out, he did not come inside. Just like when a saintly person comes to the house, we tell the saint, please stay outside. And then we get the lamp, we get the broken rice, the auspicious articles, and we throw, and then we offer the lamp to them, and then we bring them inside. So there is a reception that's why the Lord blew his conch shell outside Hastinapur, and as soon as he blew, Then there is a description of how the citizens of Hastinapur they reacted. One example also Prabhupada mentions is the Lord lips is um, reddish, pinkish reddish, and the conch shell is white. So when conch shell was touching the lips of the Lord, then it's like swan drinking the nectar. In other words, the conch is a devotee, and the conch is drinking the nectar from Lord Krishna's lips. Another example Prabhupada also gives. Um, um, Swan is also white color. Swan is called Hamsa, and devotees are also called Paramhamsas. Why? Because Hamsa means they can distinguish matter from spirit. They can distinguish reality from illusion. That is a quality. I mean, their intelligence is sharp. That is a quality of devotee. So these Hamsas, Paramhamsas, they always drink nectar from the lotus feet of the Lord, which is also reddish. So just like conch is playing in the lips and drinking nectar from the lips of the Lord, likewise the Hamsas, the devotees of the Lord, they constantly drink nectar from the lotus feet of the Lord. So various beautiful poetic descriptions. Then all the inhabitants were feeling dejected because of absence of Lord Krishna and their spontaneous love. Just like the example given when Krishna left Vrindavan, the cowherd boys, Nanda Baba, Yashoda, Gopis, Gopas, they all were feeling dejected because Krishna left Vrindavan. Likewise, the resident of Dwarka also had this spontaneous love, and when Krishna was not there for a long time because Krishna, when Mahabharat war happened, after that he stayed for a few months, then Bhishma Dev, then Yudhishthira Maharaj was appointed as a king, then few more months. And they all were in feeling of separation. And when Krishna came back, the rejection was removed. They immediately got up the citizens, and they started running fast towards the gate to receive the Lord. And then whatever they have, there were many shopkeepers, or whatever they have, whatever they could get, they were going to Lord Krishna and offering various presentations to Lord, like offering something. It is also said that we should not go to the temple empty-handed. We should usually in India there's a tradition. Either we carry a flower or we carry a fruit or something people carry to give to the Lord when they go and meet to the Lord. So they were carrying different presentations. And these presentations in Bhagavatam is compared to the lamp offered to the sun. Presentations offered to Krishna is compared to lamp offered to the sun. In other words, the source of all light is the sun. So what is the point of offering lamp to the sun? What is lamp compared to a sun? Very, very insignificant. Sun is lightening the whole universe. And lamp, how much is the power of the lamp? But still, when a devotee offers the lamp to the sun, like that, everything is coming from Krishna. Whatever Dwarkavasis have, everything is given by Krishna. And a small portion from that Krishna has given them, they're offering it back to Krishna. It's like a lamp offered to the sun. And but Krishna is pleased, just like offering Ganga water to Ganges. Likewise, Krishna is pleased by this principle of bhakti. But Prabhupada also says in the purport that Lord does not give. If somebody asks something from Krishna, Krishna does not give them if Krishna feels that this will be an obstruction or a barrier to them. So then, so in summary, the Lord came, Lord blew his conch shell. It removed the fear, removed the dejection from the citizens of Dwarkavasis. They started running fast out of spontaneous love. They brought various presentation they offered to the Lord, just like lamp is offered to the sun. And when the citizens came, so we will see there are various different things that happen when the Lord comes, and we will go through all of them in sequence. It's not very philosophical, but it's just try to imagine, basically. Try to be there when this is happening. So the citizens came and citizens offered various prayers. And the way we should offer prayers to the Lord is first we should glorify the Lord. When we see the Lord, it can be, Lord, you are so beautiful, Lord, you are our protector. Or some prayer should be offered to the Lord. So citizens, when they saw Krishna after a long time, they said, our dear Lord, you are being worshipped by Brahma, Sanat Kumaras, the king of heaven, etc. Um, there is, I mean, unlimited things can be said about the supreme absolute truth, but this is what the citizens say. Then they said that um, time cannot exert its influence upon you. There is no time that acts on Krishna. Krishna is transcendent. Time is a material. Time exists only in a material realm. Time is an energy of Krishna, but time does not act on Krishna. Just like Maya is an energy of Krishna, but Maya has no influence on him. Likewise, time is energy of Krishna, and time has no influence on him. Nature of time, it is described, Bhagavatam says, with time. Time is a destruction factor. Time destroys everything. It is said, with every sunrise and sunset, we are one day closer to death. But it is said, but for devotees of the Lord, every sunrise and sunset, we are one day closer to Krishna. If our day is engaged in serving Krishna, then it's Chanakya Pandit. He's a scholar. He says, um, time lost can never come back. So Chanakya Pandit says that's why one should be very wise while using one's time and use it in such a way that it will take us towards eternity, towards our eternal progress. But Lord Krishna, there was no influence of time on him in a way, never became old. He was always 16. Usually over time, the body deteriorates, but Krishna's body is transcendental. And whenever the residents of Dwarka, they are seeing for so many decades Lord Krishna, but Lord Krishna always looks 16 years. So this essence is, you are being worshipped by Brahma. When was Lord Krishna worshipped by Brahma? Brahma Vimohan Leela. Brahma stole the cowherd boys, and when he came to the realization, he offered various prayers to Krishna. So Brahma, Sanat Kumaras, when they smelled the tulsi from the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu, they offered various prayers to Vishnu. Indra, um, Lord lifted Govardhan, humbled Indra, and then Indra came with Surabhi, and he did Abhishek, and he offered various prayers. So the citizens are telling that you are being worshipped by Brahma, Sanat Kumaras, Indra, and time has no influence on you. Then they say, you are our mother, you are our father, you are our guru, you are our deity, you are our relative, you are our well-wisher. And this way, this is what is called, they wholeheartedly depend on Krishna. They all have their own um, like profession, the work, they all have their own families, but their object of dependence, everything wholeheartedly is Krishna. Sarva dharma parityaja mam ekam, just surrender unto me and I will deliver you from all sinful reactions. Then they say it is our good fortune that to have your darshan again. This also shows the different mood. The Dwarkavasis, they are in Aishwarya Bhav with Krishna. Brajvasis, they are in Madhurya Bhav with Krishna. Means the love of Vrindavan Vasis is very, very strong. When Krishna returns Vrindavan, then they are like, why did you leave us? Or they may question Krishna. There are chapters where Krishna left, the gopis came back and they all question Krishna. But Vrajvasi is in the mood of Aishwarya. So no matter after how long Krishna comes, they are telling, we are so greatly fortunate that we have received your darshan again. Then the citizens say, even it's very, very rare for you to visit Brahmalok or Indralok, the kingdom of heaven. You hardly make a visit there. They hardly get a chance to see you in person. But we are so fortunate that you have come and we are now seeing you face to face. Then they say, whenever you visit Hastinapur or Mathura or Vrindavan, every moment seems to us like millenniums. Our becomes our eyes become useless as if bereft of sun. Just like what is the use of the eye if there is no sun? Actually, we are able to see because the sun is there, light is there. If it's pitch dark, even if we have eyes, what is the use of those eyes? Likewise, even though we have eyes, but if you're not seeing your beautiful face and your darshan, then it's like having the eyes, but they are useless as a gift of sun. Krishna Surya Sama Maya Hai Andhaka. This way, various prayers are offered by citizens of Dwarka. And then Sukadev Goswami goes on describe how Dwarka looks. See, their dejection was removed, their fear was removed. They all started rushing, gave various presentations to Lord Krishna, offered various prayers. How Brahma, Indra, even they worship you. Time has no influence on you. Mother, father, and everything to us. And even when our eyes are useless unless we have your darshan. Various prayers are offered. Then Sukadev Goswami says the greatness of Dwarka. All the just like the lower planets, they are called Nagaloka. Just like Nagaloka is protected by Nagas, likewise Dwarka was protected by Yadus. Yadus were most powerful people on the planets. Nobody can fight with Yadus. They were like as powerful as Krishna. Um, and it is for this reason that before Krishna ended his earthly pastimes, Krishna orchestrated Mausal Leela, where all the Yadus kill themselves, because Krishna was thinking, if I go and something does not go right, then these Yadus can destroy the whole earth, because they're so powerful, nobody can defeat them. So Krishna made sure that all the Yadus are went back to their original abodes from wherever they came. Some were demigods, some were eternal associates of the Lord, some were plenary expansions of the Lord. So Lord made sure that before his disappearance, all of them disappear and go to their respective abodes. But just like Nagaloka is protected by the Nagas, the Dwarka was protected by these Yadus. All the opulences exist at all point of time in Dwarka. All the seasons exist simultaneously in Dwarka. Means sometime if Lord Krishna is feeling cold, then he can go to some part of Dwarka where there is summer. Or sometime it's too hot, he can go to some other part of Dwarka where there is mild rain and in monsoon season. Sometime some other place there is winter. So all the seasons they simultaneously exist in Dwarka. There were many lakes, rivers that were filled with water, lotuses, and lilies. There were various parks. There were various orchards, which are flower gardens. Um, there were um, there were hundreds of thousands of palaces, and each palace was as complete as Indra's own palace, and even more opulent than Indra's own planet, own palaces. Even normal people, big palaces. And Krishna's own queens were 16,108 in number. They all had their own palaces. There were highways, and there were pathways, and in order, because when Krishna blew the conch shell, there was so much joy. Just like imagine, just like Bhagavatam says, when Krishna appeared, Nandotsav, the day after Janmashtami, Nand Baba is like huge festivities going on. People are throwing yogurt and milk on each other onto um, the roads. So when Krishna blew his conch shell, there was so much activity, um, inspired by pure spontaneous love. All the um, public places, highways, roads, pathways were cleansed with scented water. Outside every household, auspicious articles for reception were kept, like lamp, incense, a bowl of yogurt, a water pot, ghee. So these are considered auspicious articles. They were kept so that when the Lord would pass by, then all the residents of Dwarka will offer various articles of worship to Lord from their household. All the city gateways and all the household doors were decorated with plantain leaves, mango leaves. They all are again a sign of auspicious. So there was everybody's like, just preparing themselves in minutes in a way to receive the Lord. Then unbroken seeds, whole fruits, they were thrown onto flowers. They were thrown onto the pathway. So Krishna would walk there. They are again considered auspicious articles. So in that way, there is a beautiful description of Dwarka and how the residents of Dwarka were making various arrangements. So when Krishna comes and Krishna is pleased, Bhagavatam says the goal of all the activity should be to please Krishna and to serve Krishna. And it says that when Krishna is spent, whatever, if the intention behind whatever we do is to serve Krishna, is to please Krishna, just merely by that intention, Krishna is pleased. Prabhupada describes Hare Krishna Mahamantra meaning. One devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, what should we think when we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra? Prabhupada said, oh my dear Lord, please engage me in your loving service. When we are chanting, that's what we should pray. Oh Mahaprabhu, oh Nityananda Prabhu, please engage me in your loving service. Oh Srimati Radharani, oh Shri Krishna, please engage me in your loving service. Oh Gurudev, please engage me in your loving service. And my spiritual master says, when this is the mood of service, and also it is said that we want to go back to spiritual world, back home, back to Godhead, but our mood to go back to Godhead is not to enjoy. It's not because it is very attractive, but it is to serve. It is the principle of service. Why I want to go back? Because I want to serve there. I want to serve here. Sanatana Goswami asked Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who am I? And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Sanatana Goswami, Jivira Sarupa Krishna Nitya Das. We are eternal servants of Krishna. And it is said that as we progress in our Krishna consciousness, our service attitude should increase. And service attitude means when there is a service attitude and anybody asks us anything, any service, we become grateful. We feel like this is the mercy of Krishna. We have got this opportunity. Somebody, Prabhu, can you do this? And two things. If we think, why I'm so busy, why they're asking me, then this is because of lack of service attitude. Then service is a pressure for us. But service attitude means we are always brimming with eagerness. And somebody says, can you serve in this way? And feel like, oh, there is an opportunity. Let me do my best. My spiritual master says service attitude means you put a lot of details in rendering the service, and the purpose of rendering service is to please others whom we are trying to serve. That is the purpose. And we see, and everything should be done to please Krishna. Samsiddhim haritoshanam. The purpose of all the varnashram, the purpose of all the dharmas, purpose of everything is to please Krishna. And then Krishna came. Now Krishna has not yet entered Dwarka. Krishna is outside, and this is all just by his blow of conch. Krishna knows how much all the residents of Dwarka, they love him, and all these things are like they are happening. And then in the inner chambers, now Dwarka is a very big city. In the inner chambers, there was Balaram. There is Rukmini's son Pradyumna. There is Jambavati son Samba, and there is Vasudev, who is Krishna's father. There is the king of Dwarka, who is Maharaj Ugrasen. And all these, when they heard the conch, so there's a description of what all is happening inside Dwarka. When these these personalities, the mothers are like Rohini Devi, Devaki Mata, and others of who have motherly affection for Krishna. And this chapter describes what was their spontaneous feeling when Krishna blew his conch shell. And everything is driven by the spontaneous love. Um, so Pradyumna, Samba, and Balaramji, they all were, whether they were sitting, whether they were resting, whether they were dining or eating, whatever they were doing, they left everything in between and they just stood up and went right outside their palace, accompanied by Brahmanas, sat on their individual chariots, where Brahmanas are reciting auspicious prayers for the welcoming of Krishna. And there was trumpets, bugles, musical instruments being played. Each of them, they all are in their own palaces. And Krishna's conch shell is also transcendental. So the sound of Krishna's conch shell does not die with distance. Just like we blow conch shell and few meters nobody will hear. But this is a Krishna's conch shell, and these are transcendental sound vibration. These transcendental sound vibration, they go right where it needs to go. And this is another thing of this transcendental sound. They are heard by those whom Krishna intended to hear. Just like Krishna's Venu, Krishna's flute. When Krishna plays the flute, only they hear the flute of Krishna for whom Krishna intended that sound vibration. And it doesn't matter how far or how close. So this is all, I mean, there are various verses and we are going through the chapter, what is happening, but this is all happening simultaneously. Um, um, each of them, Pradyumna, Samba, Maharaj, the king himself, Ugrasen, Father Vasudev, Balaramji, they all in the chariot. In front of the chariot, there are many elephants. And these elephants are, whoo, and they're making these sounds. And they all are coming in the individual directions from all places. Bugles, trumpets, brahmanas offering mantras, flowers are thrown on as the chariot is going, and there is a whole procession by all different great royal personalities, and they are rushing towards the gate to receive. And it is said there were many prostitutes who had deep loving affection for Krishna. Prabhupada gives a very interesting purport. Prabhupada says, whatever is our duty, whatever is our profession, it has nothing to do with our devotion. One can be a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Malecha, Yavana. One can be anybody from external point of view, professionally, but one may have deep love for Krishna. One can do anything and can do that motivated by pure love for Krishna. So even these prostitutes with their beautiful faces and earrings moving to and fro, whatever vehicles they could get on the roads, they just, I mean, it seems like there was some public transportation also. Whatever they could get, they were rushing towards the entrance of Dwarka. So on one side there's a royal procession, there is king, there is father, there is brother, and these wives, they are waiting at home. The mothers are waiting at home, filled with affection to receive Krishna when Krishna comes. And all the sons and I mean who are like elderly grown up, and they are rushing. Prostitutes are rushing. Then there were dramatics dramatists, they started performing drama in front of Krishna. Singers are singing in front of Krishna. Artists are presenting their art in front of Krishna, and and public speakers are glorifying Krishna. Dancers are dancing in front of Krishna. So, and the subject matter of everything, whatever they were doing, is glorification of the Lord. Prabhupada says now also there are dramas which have taken the form of movies, but they are ugra karma because it is all based on envy, anger, and illicit sex. This is what everything is perverted. But previously also they all were there in the Vedic tradition. Previously in India, Prabhupada says in the evenings, people will come and perform drama on Ramayana Mahabharata. That was the subject matter. And now the subject matter is very much degraded. This is because of the influence of Kali Yuga. Now the dancers have become like Bollywood dancers and others. The music is also for sense gratification. Previously, the music was to glorify the Lord. Narad Muni used the music not for the purpose of glorification of Vishnu, and he was cursed by the sages to become a Shudra. So, but this is Dwarka, and all whatever calibers they had, they were performing. The purpose of everything is to serve and is to please the Lord. And if anything is done just with an intention to please the Lord is pleased. And we were recently discussing, it is actually not possible to please anybody in this world. Even if you try to please somebody, sometime they will be pleased and sometime they'll be angry at you. Even if your intention is good, you do something for others with a good intention and you may get some harsh words and some anger from them. So it is actually not possible to please anybody. And Prabhupada says that every relationship in this material world, if it is not centered around Krishna, will lead to frustration. But if it is based, any relationship based on sense gratification will eventually lead to frustration. And there are many examples. King Yayati had a very intimate relationship with his wife Devayani for 10,000 years, and then finally he was frustrated. Pingala, the prostitute, thinking the man will satisfy me, and finally she was frustrated. Um, um, and Shrimad Bhagavatam is full of such examples where if somebody is trying to do something to please anybody other than Krishna, they'll be frustrated. Or to please themselves, then also they'll be frustrated. But if somebody is trying to please Krishna, and the difference between spiritual world and material world is everyone is trying to please Krishna. And then now there is another section of this chapter where we discussed about the citizens, the prayers offered by the citizens, the description of Dwarka, various things we saw, how it was decorated, what all was there in Dwarka. Then we saw how the inhabitants, their spontaneous love, Balaram and others, and elderly and dramatists and singers, how they approach Krishna. And now everybody is there and the Lord reciprocation. Now, when everyone is trying to please Krishna in their own ways, we can imagine Krishna is there and everything is just rushing towards him out of love. So Krishna bowed down. Krishna embraced those who are equal. Krishna gave blessings and benedictions to those who are juniors. Krishna touched the feet of those who are elderly and bowed down. In a way, Prabhupada says Krishna is very personal. Personal means in appropriate way, Krishna reciprocated with each one, and Krishna pleased each other. Today we were discussing in Bhagavatam class, Prabhuji was mentioning, if our sadhana is good, then our good sadhana is reflected in our dealing with others. How nicely we are dealing with others is a sign of our sadhana. If you are misbehaving, angry, then that's because our sadhana is not good. Our spiritual practice is not good. So when everybody came, the Lord greeted outside Hastinapur, and then accompanied by Maharaj Ugrasen, his father Vasudev, the elderly brahmanas with their wives, chanting auspicious mantras, and in this way the Lord the uh, entered Hastinapur, and all the roads were cleansed with scented waters. Whole food, grains, and seeds were sprinkled. Flowers were sprinkled onto the pathways. The umbrella was held on the top of Lord Krishna. And as Lord Krishna was passing through the public way, the women of Dwarka, they went onto the rooftop. This is very commonly seen. Even in Vrindavan, we see this was a common tradition. Krishna is naturally the most attractive. The Hastinapur, when Krishna was coming to Mathura, when Krishna would go for cow herding, the gopis would go on the rooftops to have a glance at Krishna. Krishna was coming to Mathura. The ladies of Mathura will go on the rooftop and glorify Krishna. Krishna is leaving Hastinapur. The ladies of Hastinapur will go on the rooftop and glance at Krishna and glorify and speak about Krishna. When Krishna entered Dwarka, because the ladies naturally they are by nature shy, especially in the Vedic tradition, so they would not come in public in a way. Not all of them. Some would, some came, not all of them. Others, like daughters and others, they would go on the rooftop. They would look at Krishna, and that was a festival for their eyes. It was like a biggest festival. Then they saw the beautiful chest of Krishna where Lakshmi Devi resides, the powerful hands of Krishna, which are worth offering protection, the lotus feet of Krishna, which seems to be very, as Krishna was walking, which seems to be very attractive and new, the face of Krishna, the smile of Krishna. And it is said when the residents of Dwarka, when they were looking at the face and smile and the chest and the lotus feet of Krishna, they could not feel satiated. I mean, they're looking at Krishna and their eyes cannot go anywhere, and they just want to keep looking at Krishna. In a way, there is no satiation. There is no, and like satiation means, so it's achintya. It's contradictory. In a way, they are fully satisfied, but then a deviation from looking anywhere else gives them such dissatisfaction, because such a higher taste in looking at Krishna, they want to keep looking at Krishna again. So they are fully satisfied and they are never satisfied. This is inconceivable, and that's how. And the Lord, when they were glorifying the Lord in their own ways, and the Lord was reciprocating with whoever is walking on the street, whoever is on the rooftop, the Lord is looking everywhere, reciprocating. And finally, Krishna walking, he came to his father's house. And the mothers were waiting at the door. Lord Krishna got down the chariot, and there's a huge procession behind him. All the residents, they were accompanying Lord Krishna. Krishna went, and it says Krishna placed his head on the feet of the mothers. First, he touched his head to the feet of Mother Devaki, to Mother Rohini. One devotee was mentioning, Prabhuji, when we meet our mothers, we bow down or we touch their feet with our hand and put it on our head. But we see Lord Krishna's natural humility and love, that is actually touching his head to their feet. Then, as he bowed down and touched his head to their feet, the mother's um, uh, breast milk started flowing out of loving affection. They picked up Krishna, they embraced Krishna. They could not control their tears of joy, and as they were crying, Krishna's body was becoming wetted, or gila ujana, becoming wetted. Then after having this reciprocal exchanges with the mothers, then Krishna entered into his palaces. And naturally Krishna becomes many and then enter into each palace simultaneously. So as Krishna reached, now the queens are naturally very shy, including Rukmini, Satyabhama, Jambavati, Kalindi, and all of them. So They were waiting, they were morose, they were waiting to have a darshan. They had naturally the deepest affection for Krishna. And when Krishna came at the door, they immediately gave up their seats, covered their head with the veil out of shyness. They started looking down, had a mild smile on their face. The heart was filled, brimming with intense joy and loving affection. So it is said that first, when they saw, now naturally this is like everything in Vedic culture is very cultured. Like it is not vulgar. Like today's tradition is very vulgar. People go to the airport and these husband wife, they embrace, they kiss, they dress inappropriately. So today's society in Kali Yuga is a vulgar society, but it was not there. Everything was very cultured in the Vedic tradition. So they cannot, I mean, this is public, so they cannot, they were just covering their head in front of their husband who was served the supreme absolute truth. They are the eternal associates of the Lord, looking down, and in their hearts, without even seeing Krishna, first in their hearts they embrace Krishna, just in their hearts. Like Krishna is far away, Krishna is accompanied and brimming with joy. And it is said that they were in deep meditation till Krishna come, because they were always remembering Krishna. And when Krishna came and they saw, immediately got up, left their seats, appropriately presented themselves, and then they looked at Krishna. And through their vision, through their eyes, they embrace Krishna. This is second level of embrace. And then after visually embracing Krishna, then they send their little children who were like, who could not go to receive because they were little. And it is said the child represents the mother, because child is the bodily expansion of the mother, because child takes the body from the mother's body. So these queens, they send the children and they embrace Krishna, and that's like a physical embrace also. But you see, everything is very cultured. Then they were trying to tolerate, but incessantly, one after the other, tears were coming from their eyes. Out of loving affection, Krishna has returned. And they were they were meditating on the lotus feet of Krishna. Now, if you see Lakshmi, everything is like, as I said, when you read this particular chapter, such a beautiful Vedic tradition, Vedic culture. When they were seeing Krishna, they were meditating on the lotus feet of Krishna. And lotus feet of Krishna were appearing to them like newer and newer. Just like sometimes we go to temple and we see Krishna's feet, we see Krishna's face. And we can keep seeing the beauty of Krishna, the beauty of Srimati Radharani for a very long time, because the expressions of the Lord looks newer and newer every minute. And when it looks newer and newer, then there is no boredom there. Like newer and newer. It is said that Krishna is ever fresh. And as they were looking at the feet of Krishna, as Krishna was walking and embracing their children, looking newer and newer. It is said, Bhagavatam describes, this chapter describes, Sukadeva Goswami describes, the goddess of fortune is by nature very restless, chanchal. She does not stay at one place. This is her nature. But the lotus feet of Krishna and the chest of Krishna is so attractive that she is completely captured by the lotus feet of Krishna. She can never leave the lotus feet of Krishna, although she is by nature restless. So Bhagavatam says, which woman can avoid um, um, when goddess of fortune, who is restless by nature, can never leave Krishna in deep meditation, because always newer and newer. Which woman who is willing to perform devotional service will not be attracted to Krishna? And yesterday I was thinking, And there is one common prayer which is spoken by the ladies of Mathura and the ladies of Vrindavan, that when they are looking at Krishna, they curse Brahma, the creator, for creating the eyelids. Because of the eyelids, sometimes the eyelids blink unconsciously also. And during that time, they cannot see Krishna. So they say, how inexperienced is this creator Brahma? Such a foolish creator that he doesn't know how to create, and he has created this eyelids, which is obstructing our vision to Krishna. And I was thinking, I mean, we may have seen probably many beautiful people on the planet externally. Um, Nobody in this world thinks about uh, how foolish is the creator Brahma, that he has created this eyelid that we cannot see. Such beauty does not exist. In fact, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, whatever beauty is there is is a spark of my splendor, or it emanates from me. So for us, we cannot just imagine the beauty of Krishna, and why they are calling Brahma such inexperienced and foolish for creating idols. Means what is that beauty of Krishna? From from whom everything beautiful sprung or comes out, and what will be that beauty of Krishna? So it is said there is nobody who once having looked with devotion, if look even Kalia, who was full of envy when Krishna was swimming into the water. Kalia with his hoods was full of envy, full of poison. When he looked at Krishna, he was thinking, wow, what a beauty. This is a snake. That's why Krishna is all beautiful. The birds, it is said when the birds walking and they look at Krishna, ah, they close their eyes. And when they close their eyes, even the birds or peacocks, anybody, and their mind has once captured the face of Krishna, beauty of Krishna, and they become like great sages of samadhi, closing their eyes and constantly meditating on what they have seen. Krishna is all attractive. Um, some other thoughts were coming, but I skipped the thoughts. So Krishna is all attractive. And when these Rukmini Satyabhama once one, and they just it was an overwhelming, and because spontaneous loving affection, incessant tears, even though they were trying to tolerate, uh, were coming from their eyes. Then this is a very beautiful verse that says, um, and they were passing beautiful smiles and furtive glances. Just they're queens, they're wives. So smiling very beautifully and glancing in a very loving affection. And the beauty of Rukmini Satyabhama is beyond imagination. We cannot imagine. Their expansion is Lakshmi. How beautiful is Mother Lakshmi. So we cannot imagine their beauty, and on the top, their furtive glances and their smiling faces. And so much love and affection they were throwing at Krishna. It is said that even the Cupid himself, Cupid is the one who, you know, makes opposite sex get attracted to each other through his arrows. Even the Cupid, when they saw such, if he even see such beautiful smiles and furtive glances of the queens, he himself will faint. That much love was coming. And Bhagavatam says, even if Shiva, who is highly self-controlled, if he sees them, he will also fall down. And that was the affection and the beauty with which they were looking at Krishna. And yet, Bhagavatam says, um, yet they could not agitate the senses of the Lord. They could not agitate the senses of the Lord. Then in the purport, Prabhupada says, Krishna, although it is transcendental, yet Krishna is full of six opulences, and one of the opulences of Krishna is renunciation. And that's why, I mean, everything about Krishna is transcendental. Sometimes people think, they portray Krishna in a not very positive way. Oh, Krishna was one person, one professor told my Guru Maharaj, Krishna is a lusty god. It's just because they cannot understand Krishna, or who Krishna, or they haven't heard about Krishna from like Srila Prabhupada and from Guru Parampara, and that's why they fail to understand Krishna. They only go by externals and they bring Krishna down to their level. Oh, Krishna is very lusty. He has 16,108 queens. Krishna is like this. And, there are many cheap artists. They draw various paintings of Krishna with the gopis and others in a very illicit way, making Krishna act like a immoral or something. It's like the whole world is driven by lust and envy, and that's what they portray their own contaminations onto Krishna. Um, um, but Bhagavatam says even Shiva and Cupid could fall down, but it could not even slightly agitate the senses of Krishna. Krishna, um, there are many things um, can be spoken, but we will see one verse that contains something on this on uh, in this direction also. Then the second last verse says, the supreme personality of Godhead is completely divine. He is not affected by the qualities of material nature, even though he's in contact with them. Krishna can be anywhere, but Maya does not touch Krishna. Maya is Krishna's Shakti. Similarly, the pure devotees of the Lord who take shelter of the Lord also become free from the influence of Maya. Krishna is completely transcendental, and when we take complete shelter of the Lord, just like Krishna, we also become transcendental, and then Maya cannot touch us also. There are examples of Haridas Thakur, who was um, completely absorbed, deeply absorbed in the holy names, and the prostitute came, even Mother Parvati, Maya Devi herself, in her most attractive feature, came in front of Haridas Thakur and could not agitate the senses of Haridas Thakur. And Maya Devi said, I have initially received initiation from Lord Shiva and Ram mantra. Now I want to receive initiation from you in Krishna mantra. Chanakya Pandit says, who is Chanakya Pandit? He was from New Delhi. He was a moralist. Prabhupada was quoting yesterday. I was hearing Prabhupada lecture. Prabhupada quoted, Prabhupada says, Chanakya Pandit would say, who is a Pandita? He says, a Pandita is one who sees every woman, if one is married then other than one's wife, who sees every woman as one's mother. Mata Paradarishu. Who sees every woman as one's mother, he is Pandita. Pandita means Brahmana. Brahmana means goodness. And goodness, so this is like, this is the real qualities of who are actually becoming Vaishnavas. And what to speak about when a Pandita is unagitated, who is a real Brahmana is unagitated. What to speak about the pure devotees of the Lord, and what to speak about Swayam Bhagavan Shri Krishna. And although Krishna had such a transcendental personality, yet the queens, they thought that they are dominating Lord Krishna, or Krishna is under their control. They thought like that. Although Krishna is completely uh, unaffected. But Krishna was, now when Krishna was in Dwarka also, he would always remember in separation Brajvasis. That's why Krishna is in his natural state in Vrindavan. And that's why in our tradition, we worship Krishna in the mood of Vrindavan. I worship Krishna in Vrindavan. So with this comes to the end of Lord Krishna's reception, or Lord Krishna entering Dwarka. Now we will read one verse quickly. Okay, can you all see the screen?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay,
Yes, Prabhuji.
thank you. Uddama bhava pishunamalavalguhasa vedavaloka nihato madano piyasam sammuya chapam ajahat pramadottamasta yasendriyam vimatitum kuhakarna shekuhu. Okay, this is again on similar lines. Although the queen's beautiful smiles and furtive glances were all spotless and exciting, and although they could conquer Cupid himself by making him give up his bow in frustration, and although even the tolerant Shiva could fall victim to them, still, despite all their magical feats and attractions, they could not agitate the senses of the Lord. The path of salvation, or the path going back to Godhead, always forbids the association of women, which basically the association of opposite sex always forbids the association of women, and the complete Sanatan Dharma or Varnashram Dharma scheme forbids or restricts association with women. How can one be accepted as a supreme personality of Godhead who is addicted to more than 16,000 wives? This question may be relevantly raised by inquisitive persons really anxious to know about the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord. And to answer such questions, the sages of Naimisharanya have discussed the transcendental character of the Lord in this and in following verses. The rest of the verses are on the same line, how Krishna is completely transcendental. It is clear herein, and our duty as the devotees of Lord Krishna is to protect Lord Krishna from those who misunderstand Lord Krishna. One time there was a discussion. I was leading the discussion, and one person asked, "How can you even consider Krishna as one of the gods?" Means he is not thinking that there are so many gods. Why you are worshiping Krishna? He is indirectly telling, "How can you even consider Krishna as one of the gods?" And even Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who is our Acharya, when he read Chaitanya Charitamrita, he understood that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the best among all the saints. But because of what was going on and what impression people had about Krishna, um, Bhaktivinoda Thakur was thinking, see, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is certainly the best among all the saints. But why is he, even in such an exalted position, is worshipping Krishna? So even Bhaktivinoda Thakur had that doubt. Just the society portray Krishna in this way. It is clear herein that the feminine attractive features which can conquer Cupid or even the supermost tolerant Lord Shiva could not conquer the senses of the Lord. Cupid business is to invoke mundane lust. The whole universe is moving, being agitated by Cupid's arrows. The activities of the world are being carried on by the central attraction of male and female. Prabhupada said the purpose of whole creation is, Prabhupada says, sex life. The activities of the world are being carried on by the central attraction of male and female. A male is searching after a mate to his liking, and the female is looking for a suitable male. That is the way of material stimulus. Actually, the purpose of this loving, the real goal of loving affection is when the loving affection is directed in our loving affection to Krishna. That is the way of material stimulus. And as soon as the male is combined with the female, the material bondage of the living being is at once tightly interlocked by sex relation. And as a result of this, both the male and female attraction for sweet home, motherland, bodily offspring, society, and friendship and accumulation of wealth becomes the illusory field of activities. And thus a false but indefatigable attraction for the temporary material existence, which is full of miseries, is manifest. Those who are therefore on the path of salvation for going back home, back to Godhead, are specially advised by all scriptural instruction to become free from such paraphernalia of material attraction. And that is possible only by the association of the devotees of the Lord, who are called the Mahatmas. Cupid throws his arrow upon the living beings to make them mad after the opposite sex, whereas whether the party is actually beautiful or not. Cupid's provocations are going on even among beastly societies who are all ugly looking in the estimation of the civilized nations. Thus, Cupid's influence is exerted even amongst the ugliest forms. And what to speak about the most perfect beauties? Lord Shiva, who is considered to be most tolerant, was also struck by Cupid's arrows because he also became mad after the Mohini incarnation of the Lord and acknowledged himself to be defeated. Cupid, however, was himself captivated by the grave and exciting dealings of the goddesses of fortune, and he voluntarily gave up his bow and arrow in the spirit of frustration. Such was the beauty and attraction of the queens of Lord Krishna. Yet they could not disturb the transcendental senses of the Lord. This is because the Lord is all perfect Atmaram or self sufficient. He does not require anyone's extraneous help for his personal satisfaction. Therefore, the queen could not satisfy the Lord by their feminine attractiveness, but they satisfied him by their sincere affection and service. It is said, Krishna is not attracted by one's beauty, one's wealth, one's opulence, one's knowledge, one's high birth. Krishna is not attracted by any of these things. Krishna is attracted only by bhakti. Krishna is transcendental. Only bhakti touches him. Whether one is poor, whether one is rich, whether one is good looking, whether one is not good looking, wherever one is situated, in whichever situation, how old or how young, whether one is 80, 90 years old, whether one is 5 years old, independent of everything, material circumstances, wherever there is bhakti, Krishna is attracted. And it is said that to see devotees from a material vision is also an offense. So he's an old man, I'm not interested. Oh, I'm more interested here, less interested there. Krishna is completely transcendental. Krishna is attracted only by bhakti, but they satisfy him by their sincere affection and service. Now, why Krishna was attracted? What aspect of Krishna was attracted to the queens? Their bhakti, their love, not how good they look. And it is said in spiritual world, one's beauty is based on one's bhakti. The more we have love for Krishna, the more beautiful form we have in the spiritual world. And the one who is the topmost devotee of Krishna is Srimati Radharani. And that's why Srimati Radharani is the most beautiful also. But when Krishna is reciprocating with her, it's the bhakti angle always. Krishna is attracted by bhakti, bhaktya. Only by unalloyed transcendental loving service could they satisfy the Lord, and the Lord was pleased to treat them as wives in reciprocation. Thus, being satisfied by their unalloyed service only, the Lord reciprocated the service just like a devout husband. And it is said today we will discuss in our evening Bhakti Shastra, only love can control Krishna. Only bhakti can control Krishna. This material world acts only on a very temporarily external platform. That's why this word is considered as a reflection only. It is similar to spiritual world, but the underlying principle is material and Maya and three more illusion. There, the underlying principle is bhakti. And we are trying to become spiritualists. We want to advance spiritually. So we want to make the guiding principle for everything in our life as devotion. We are bhakti yogis. And bhakti basically, Mahaprabhu means Shravanam and Kirtanam, hearing and chanting. The Lord reciprocated the service just like a devout husband. Otherwise, he had no business becoming the husband of so many wives. He is the husband of everyone. But to one who accepts him as such, he reciprocates. This unalloyed affection for the Lord is never to be compared to mundane lust. It is purely transcendental. And the grave dealings which the queens display in natural feminine ways were also transcendental, because the feelings were expressed out of transcendental ecstasy. Now, Srila Prabhupada is taking this opportunity not to bring the queens down, because they are all pure devotees of the Lord. They are expansions of Radharani and the gopis. So Prabhupada is, and Sukadev Goswami is helping us understand the Lord's transcendental nature. but the relationship between them is only on the level of bhakti. It is purely transcendental, and the grave dealings which the queens display in natural feminine ways were also transcendental because the feelings were expressed out of transcendental ecstasy. It is already explained in the previous verse that the Lord appeared like a mundane husband, but factually his relation with his wives was transcendental, pure, and unconditioned by the modes of material nature. So I hope everybody understood, and that's all we have. If there any discussion, we can take now. Anybody has anything to say? Ask.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada.
Prabhuji, we understood. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Very absorbing sharing. Like Prabhuji, the Vraja mood is not having any awe and reverence, and so I was contemplating, Prabhuji, like when Lord appeared as Lord Gauranga. I mean, how as an aspirant of Vrindavan, we should be imbibing this mood when we interact with devotees, like it's internal, or if it tends to come externally, then we should restrict it, because we see interaction of devotees like in Lord Gauranga's pastimes, it's more with a kind of respectful and submissive, more of that way. So just contemplating on that, Prabhuji. Any uh, this interaction with devotees?
Yeah, I don't know if I understood your question, but our mood, best, the mood of our Guru Maharaj is this beautiful prayer. Oh, my dear Lord, please engage me in your loving service. Oh, Shri Radha and Shri Krishna. Oh, Shri Radha Govinda. Shri Radha Madhava. Please engage me in your loving service. And approaching them in the mood of a service. That's in the mood of service is how we enter the mood of Vrindavan. The actual entry in the mood of Vrindavan is to the mood of service. And like Prabhupada encouraged in our, like till we are very mature in our Krishna consciousness, which probably I am not there. It's a long way for me till for that point. Our relationship is out of respect, careful. My Lord, please engage me in your loving service. And that is very safe. Did I answer, Prabhuji? Did I understood your question correctly?
Yes, Prabhuji. I am satisfied. Very helpful. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I guess if nothing else is there, we can.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam.
Then
I was always used to think like renunciation, exactly how that Krishna has one opulence as renunciation. So how exactly it means? What does it mean exactly?
You mean what does renunciation means?
Yeah, I mean, in material sense, we say we can understand that detachment from material affection or something, but in spiritual world, renunciation, how, uh, what, what is the exact meaning of that opulence?
Again, renunciation is connected to material things only, Mataji. Now, one contextual thing is important to understand. There's a conversation between Sukadev Goswami Maharaj Parikshit, and there were many 60,000 other sages. Some were yogis, and they all have different understanding of spiritual life, and many have different understanding about Krishna also. So Sukadev is addressing along with Maharaj Parikshit to all of them. And that's why Sukadev Goswami introduced this word that the Lord was not affected by the furtive glances, but in true sense, everything that is happening between Krishna and the queens is completely on a transcendental platform. But unless Sukadev Goswami explicitly mentions it, we may end up in misunderstanding Krishna's pastimes.
So this was one aspect, right? But there may be another aspects also, right? Like renunciation can be related to in different uh, to different terms also, right? Like not only uh, one thing which we just talked about, but there may be another aspects also, right? Like, does it means like just like not affected by anything or something
Yeah,
like that
not
in
affected.
general term? Okay.
Rupa Goswami says there is Falgu renunciation and there is true renunciation. True renunciation is accepting everything and engaging that in the service of Krishna. An artificial renunciation, a Falgu renunciation, is naiti naiti, not this, no, 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 no. And when we say no, 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 that's a sign of attachment also. Attachment is reflected in attachment repulsion, two sides of the same coin. But accepting everything unaffected and using everything in a service of Krishna is a true sign of renunciation. Accepting because we are attached is a sign of attachment. And when this attachment is there, then we'll try to repel those things also because no, 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 no. Is that all right?
Yeah, so in a layman language, like renunciation means he is only affected or attracted by bhakti and nothing else, even if we have any other qualities, but other than bhakti, nothing else can be attracted to Krishna, right? Something like that.
Yes, only bhakti. Yes, Mataji.
Oh, thank you, Prabhu. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna,
Mataji. There is a
Pranam.
question for the people who compare Ram with Krishna and tell that we are like Ram but not Krishna. Should we make an attempt to explain them? Well, one lecture I heard, Mataji, they say that we should live like Lord Ram because he lived in a way that how we should live, and we should love Lord Krishna. We cannot act like Lord Krishna, but we can love and direct our affection, devotion towards Lord Krishna, but we live like Ram, means moral. Ram was morally perfect. And should we explain them? It depends upon if they are open. But our natural duty is to uh, protect Krishna because Krishna is misunderstood, most misunderstood by most common people. So I hope that answers Mataji. With all of your permission, we can end here. Thank you all for joining. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhe evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much. Dhanvat pranam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Satya
Krishna,
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dhanvat.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna
Mataji.
Prabhuji, Dhanvat Pranam.
Yogesh Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.